I'm Eric Russell, and this is Under the Wig with Jinkx Monsoon.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jinkx Monsoon. Jinx, like Jinx, you owe me some Coke, and Monsoon, like the natural disaster.
Well, first, congratulations on winning RuPaul's Drag Race.
Thank you.
Because now that makes you not only the Jewish narcoleptic, but the Jewish narcoleptic drag
America's premier Jewish narcoleptic drag queen. Yeah.
It's a whole title.
I love a mouthful.
So, I have to say, you were my favorite.
Oh,
I try not to have favorites, but when you were...
You're not just saying that because I'm here, right?
No, you were my favorite. I'm telling you right now, I'm playing a favorite.
Oh,
it was Jinx, because you did Little Edie.
Well, you know,
Grey Gardens.
Little Edie has always been one of my most favorite people, honestly, because I feel like I relate to her with the fact that she's a bit of a, she was an icon from a very specific time and period, but she was kind of out of her own realm, you know. She wasn't fully appreciated until we could look back on her and just realize how brilliant she was. And when they wrote the Grey Gardens musical, that's what really turned me on to the whole American aristocracy aesthetic of the old 1930s, you know.
It was fantastic. It was so fresh, and I just loved it.
Yeah.
Because you said your drag was inspired by Lucille Ball, the movie Death Becomes Her, and some Disney villainesses. Give us a little history of pulling all that together to make Jinkx Monsoon.
Well, I have to say, you know, like every good little gay boy, I was just obsessed with the Disney villains like Ursula the Sea Witch, Maleficent, Cruella de Vil. There's just something about the fact that they're evil, but they're so glamorously, like, decadently evil, you know? Like, I don't consider myself an evil character, but it's so fun to play those characters.
They are.
And then at about age 7, I saw the movie Death Becomes Her. And what I saw in that are two women who are just so obsessed with their own vanity and their own beauty that they go to such extreme lengths to maintain it. And then, you know, we see the kind of, like, delicious evil that is, you know, like...
spackling each other and doing the whole thing.
Painting each other's ass forever. Forever!
Loved it. I found some great quotes about you, and I had to go. Jinkx Monsoon sings with the power of 2 Ethel Mermans and a bar brawl. And I went, loved it. And then no one should be this young and yet incredibly talented. And then the other, Jinkx Monsoon, not just a drag queen, she is the effing performer in Seattle.
Well, yeah, I started out my Seattle career because I started drag in Portland at about age 15. Did drag in an underage dance club. I did win a pageant very early in my drag career.
A pageant queen. See, pageant queen.
It's the longest running under 21 drag pageant in the country, and it's called Rosebud and Thorn. Okay. It's in Portland, Oregon. It's based out of the Escape nightclub. And, you know, though, I ran against some very seasoned, like, actual pageant queens. I was like the campy comedy queen in the pageant full of, like, pageant queens, you know? And it was it was interesting because I won, but there was still a lot of animosity towards me because I beat out the queens who should have won, the queens who were, like, grooming for the title and blah, 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 blah. But I had to just, like, kind of hold my head high anyway and just be like, but I won. You know, like, and it's hard because it's not about ego for me. I just love performing. Yeah. And to win a pageant means you get to perform more often because they want you there for your namesake. So when I started in Seattle, though, I started at this dive bar, the Rebar. It's like the most fantastic dive bar. And they put on a monthly show called Bacon Strip, hosted by Seattle's effervescent hostess, Sylvia Ostay-Fermor. And she puts together this show, and every month there was a different theme. And she gets all these kind of like, these alternative dirtbag drag queens, these like in-your-face, brassy, like performance artists, gives them a theme, and we put on a big show. And that's what helped me get my mark on Seattle. And that quote about me singing like 2 Ethel Mermans, I was like one of 2 queens who sang live. And I not only sang live, but I would almost always like blow out the system because I was belting into these dive bar microphones, you know?
having won RuPaul's Drag Race, this has opened so many doors, and I know you're putting money aside for your brother to go to college and pay off some student loans and stuff, because you paid your way through school and supported yourself since age 15. Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, my drag career started at age 15, and that's how I made my, like, spending money, was doing drag shows. And I would lie about my age and sneak into bars, and they wouldn't card me because I was a drag, and I looked like a 45-year-old woman, so, that's kind of what started. It's very loud, honey. That's my best friend, my assistant. So yeah, that started at age 15, and then I went to Seattle at 19 for school, and being a janitor at my school was pretty much the only way I could afford to stay in school. So I did that, and then I've been working as an actor ever since I graduated, and hosting An Evening at LaFaux and Julia's on Broadway in Seattle. So, but Drag Race is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like, I consider, you know, what's happened for me since I went on Drag Race, before I even won, just being on Drag Race, my career went from 0 to 60. And now that I've won, we're talking about from going 60 to 120 overnight, you know.
You have a show called The Vaudevillians. I mean, opening on Broadway fairly soon, or off-Broadway?
Off-Broadway. The Vaudevillians at the Lord Beachman Theater, July 8th through, I really can't even remember all the dates, because can I tell you honestly, it started out that we were doing the show on July 18th. One night only, and it sold out so quickly that we added another show, and then that sold out. So we've added and added and added, and now it's going to be a month-long run of the Lori Beachman in New York. So I want to say, just look it up, middle of July. I don't know all the dates because we haven't finalized it, but it's, The Vaudevillians is an original show that I co-created with my music partner from Seattle, Richard Andrews, and he's a fantastic composer and musician. And it's a husband and wife two-person show. We are vaudeville stars who were cryogenically frozen in the 1920s.
Love it.
And thanks to global warming, we're thawed out, and we are bringing our original vaudeville music back to the mainstream stage. But over the last century, pop artists have been covering our music.
Okay.
So we do it in its original integrity. So we do songs like Britney Spears' Toxic, Lady Gaga's Bad Romance, Janis Joplin's Piece of My Heart, take another little piece of my heart now, baby. All as if they were written in the 1920s.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun, it's really campy, and I play a coke-addicted prostitute from the 1920s named Kitty Witless.
Love it. Whenever you're having times you were trying to get through a moment, you would use the phrase water in a duck's back. And I think that's really important that you share with people, because kids out there today going, you know, no one gets me, what people are saying about me. Can you do a little more about that water in a duck's back? Where did you come up with that? Or?
Water in a duck's back is literally something that my drag sister, Robbie Turner, in Seattle used to remind me. When I started working in Seattle, there were a lot of drag queens who felt very threatened because I came out of nowhere, and then I very quickly was one of the top performing drag queens in Seattle, and it threatened a lot of people. You know, if I had been working in Seattle for a decade and then this bitch came out of nowhere and started taking all the good jobs, I'd have been threatened too. So there was a lot of animosity, and she would just say, you can't let other people's negativity slow you down. And water off ducks' back is a reference to the fact that water just rolls off of ducks. Right. Ducks don't get wet. They're just ducks. You know, they swim around in a pond, they splash around, but they don't get wet, you know. So that's the philosophy that I took into this experience. And for me, as an artist, you know, I graduated from Cornish College with a BFA in theater. And when you put your work up for critique, you have to understand that we're critiquing the work, we're not critiquing the person. So when you put your drag up for critique, they're critiquing the drag and not the person. So that's why I was able to take in the notes like, we need you to change your contour, we want to see more glamour, we want to see less camp, just to see if you can handle it, you know? And I had to remind myself, they're not telling me, the person, that I'm not good enough. They're telling me, the drag queen, what else can you do?
Right.
So you take the notes in, you take the critiques in, you process it, you evaluate it, you learn what you can, and then anything that sounds just negative, or stuff that you can't work with, or stuff that you really just don't agree with, water off the duck's back.
Excellent. What's one thing that you've always wanted to do that winning RuPaul's Drag Race will allow you to do? Something you've always wanted to do that you never thought you could do, and now you can?
I have always wanted to be the first drag queen host of Saturday Night Live, and I don't know if that door is open yet, but I'm hoping that, like, maybe down the road that might happen.
Fantastic.
And I would love to be the first drag queen to play. Now, I wouldn't be the first drag queen on Broadway, clearly. We have Kinky Boots.
Right.
We have
Priscilla Queen of the Desert.
Priscilla Queen of the Desert. We have Hairspray, which always features a drag performer in the role of Edna Turnblad. But I would like to be the first drag queen to play the female lead roles. And not just play it like, oh, ha ha ha, I'm a man in a dress, but I'm actually committing to this character. So my dream roles right now are The Witch and Into the Woods,
Nice.
Mrs. Lovett and Sweeney Todd, and then maybe one day Mama Rose and Jinx. And I'm actually going to be playing Velma Von Tussle in the concert version of Hairspray at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle this summer.
People want to follow you, find out more about Jinkx Monsoon. Do you Twitter? Do you Tumble? What do we got?
I Twitter, I Tumble, but I have to tell you, I just today decided I am going to put some, I have a web designer who does my web page.
Right.
www.jinxmonsoon.com, and that's where you can find out everything about me, the Vaudevillians, my tour schedule, and you can also buy all the merchandise because I have some wonderful t-shirts and posters and Jinkx Monsoon brand makeup. But I like Twitter and I like Vine, but Tumblr and Instagram, too many people out there. Do you know what I think the easiest thing in the whole wide world is?
What?
Sitting on your computer and being mean to people that you don't know, completely anonymously. That's the easiest thing in the whole wide world. Do you know what's really difficult? Winning RuPaul's Drag Race.
There you go.
That takes a little bit more talent and a little bit more effort. So I've decided today, I don't want to look at Tumblr anymore. There's too many people with opinions that they haven't deserved the right to have. You know?
Absolutely.
So, and I just can't afford to waste any more time watching people just be assholes for the sake of being assholes. Yeah.
Other big projects you have coming up after you're done here in Richmond, you head back to the Great Northwest.
I go back to the Northwest in Seattle for a night to host my home show, La Faux, just to kind of like say hi to everyone. Saturday this week I am hosting the GLAAD Awards in San Francisco. Excellent. So I'm going to be the host of the entire event, and I'm so excited because I really love what GLAAD does.
Fantastic organization.
Then we're in Madison, Wisconsin on Sunday, and then I go home for a week to kind of reappropriate everything, restock, recharge, re-up, and then I go on the Absolute tour pretty damn soon. And from that moment on, it's just going to be a complete monsoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Jinx, this has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here tonight.
I'm so glad to be here tonight. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm Eric Russell, and this has been Under the Wig with Jinkx Monsoon.
Bye!
You never know whose wig I'll get under next. So tune in next time. See ya!